Adepa returned home the next day, heartbroken and confused. Dickson had been distant, isolating himself and ignoring her completely. She couldn't understand what she had done to deserve such cold treatment. Feeling emotionally shattered, Adepa spent the entire day unable to eat or find any peace. She was traumatized, the pain of Dickson's rejection piercing her heart deeply. She lay in her room, unable to muster the energy to visit her auntie's store. The emotional weight felt like a physical sickness, a new and unbearable experience for her. Her Auntie Ama had promised to send an electrician to fix the fan and the lights, but she hadn't followed through. Alone in the dim room, Adepa's sorrow deepened, and she cried bitterly, feeling utterly abandoned. Auntie Ama found her there, her eyes red and puffy from crying. "Adepa, what's wrong? Why didn't you go to the store today?" she asked, feigning concern. I'm not feeling well, Auntie. I need some rest," Adepa replied, her voice trembling with suppressed sobs. Auntie Ama felt a cruel satisfaction. Her plan was working. She had always aimed to drive a wedge between Adepa and Dickson. There is a saying that when you see a black man happy, his fellow black man is likely in trouble. Auntie Ama had forgotten the sacrifices Adepa's mother had made for her. Sacrifices of health, life and education, so she could have a better future. Instead of supporting her niece, she had become an obstacle. When Auntie Ama realized the depth of Adepa's pain, she couldn't hide her jubilation. She quickly called her daughter Abigail to celebrate the moment. "Abigail, come here. Our plan is working perfectly," she said, a sinister smile spreading across her face. Adepa, on the other hand, was spiraling deeper into despair. She constantly sent WhatsApp messages to Dickson, but he rarely replied. When he did, it was hours later, and his responses were curt. She called him repeatedly, but he seldom picked up. When he did answer, all he said was, "I'm busy, I'll call you later." But he never did. The emotional toll on Adepa was devastating. She was losing the love of her heart, the person who had brought her so much happiness and hope. Adepa began to lose weight, her appetite disappearing along with her spirit. The constant heartache was taking a physical toll on her body. One day, Auntie Ama, curious about the extent of Adepa's suffering, confronted her again. "Adepa, you look terrible. What is going on with you?" Auntie Ama asked, feigning concern. Adepa couldn't hold back anymore. She poured out her heart, explaining everything to her aunt. "Dickson won't talk to me. He ignores my messages and calls. I don't know what I've done wrong." Auntie Ama saw her opportunity to twist the knife. "I told you not to trust such men. They're wicked and only out to use you. When I warned you, you didn't listen," she said, shaking her head in mock disappointment. "But Auntie," Adepa protested, "he knows I'm a virgin. We've never slept together." "Exactly," Auntie Ama replied. "That's why he's revealing his true colors now. He wanted to sleep with you and dump you. Since you didn't give in, he sees no reason to continue the charade. You did well not to sleep with him, but you should have listened to me from the start." Adepa's eyes filled with tears. The betrayal was too much to bear. Her own aunt, the woman she trusted, was reveling in her misery. She had lost the man she loved, and now she realized she had never truly had the support of her family. The weight of it all was crushing, leaving her in a pit of sorrow and despair. "Adepa, don't worry about him," Auntie Ama said, feigning reassurance. "I assure you that next month I'll enroll you in the university. Once you're there, you'll meet an educated person who will truly appreciate you. Maybe that's why Dickson is pulling away. Sometimes rich men want educated women to help manage their businesses. Don't worry, the electrician will come and fix the lights tomorrow. He was delayed because he traveled, but he'll be here. Adepa tried to muster a smile, but Auntie Ama's words only deepened her despair. The insinuation that her lack of education made her unworthy felt like another blow. That night, as she lay in the dark, her thoughts swirled with feelings of worthlessness and hopelessness. Meanwhile, Auntie Ama was plotting. She called the electrician to confirm his visit and added a secret task, promising him a large sum of money. Then she called Dickson. "Dickson," she said, her voice dripping with deceit. "Adepa's boyfriend will be coming to the house tomorrow. You should come and see it for yourself." Dickson was stunned. He couldn't sleep, his mind racing with thoughts of betrayal. The idea that Adepa could have another man was unthinkable, but if her own auntie had confirmed it, he felt he had to see for himself. The next day, around 2 p.m., the electrician arrived as scheduled. Auntie Ama called Adepa to take him to her room and show him the problems with the fan and lights. Adepa, unaware of the brewing storm, greeted the electrician. "Why didn't you bring your tools?" she asked. "I'm just here to check the problem first. I'll bring the necessary tools later," he replied smoothly. As Adepa pointed out the issues, the electrician watched her closely. "Sister Adepa, you are beautiful. Are you engaged?" he asked, his tone almost too casual. "Yes, I am," Adepa replied, feeling uneasy. "Can I have your contact?" he persisted. Adepa's patience wore thin. "I already told you I'm engaged. Why ask for my contact?" she snapped, her frustration growing. The electrician continued to press her, and Adepa became visibly angry. Just then, less than 30 minutes later, Dickson arrived. Auntie Ama, with a feigned look of surprise, welcomed him and led him inside. "Dickson is here to see you," she called out Adepa. Shocked by the unexpected visit, Adepa hurriedly left her room and rushed to the hall. She found Dickson sitting there, looking both anxious and hopeful. "What brings you here?" Auntie Ama asked innocently, as if she knew nothing of her own deceit. Dickson took a deep breath. "In-law, I've had some issues with Adepa recently. I know how much she's been affected, so I decided to surprise her, to show that I still love her, and to let bygones be bygones." Adepa's eyes filled with tears. She was overwhelmed by Dickson's gesture, but the sting of recent events was still fresh. "Dickson, I don't know what to say," she stammered. Adepa's tears of joy flowed as Dickson accepted her back. Despite not knowing what she had done wrong, having her lover return seemed to bring emotional healing. Little did she know a heavier storm was approaching. As they continued their conversation, a man appeared from another room, half naked, with his shirt draped over his shoulder. Pretending to make a call, he paused, waved at Adepa and said, "Sweetheart, there's an emergency, so I'll see you next week." He quickly left, leaving Adepa stunned. "Wait, electrician, what do you mean by sweetheart?" Adepa called after him, but he ignored her and disappeared without a trace. Adepa stood speechless, and Dickson, already filled with doubt, exploded with anger. "What the hell am I seeing here? Adepa, tell me something. Are you dating someone else?" Adepa was desperate for Auntie Ama to intervene, knowing she was the only one who could explain that the man was just an electrician there to fix the light. Instead, Auntie Ama told Dickson to calm down. "Let me get you some water to drink. We can discuss this calmly," she said. As she walked away, she went to her room, locked the door, and began to jubilate quietly, celebrating her successful mission to destroy Adepa's relationship. In the hall, Adepa struggled to find words. "Dickson, You have to believe me. That man is just the electrician." Dickson's eyes were filled with hurt and confusion. "Why did he call you sweetheart then? This doesn't make any sense, Adepa." "I don't know," she whispered, feeling the ground slip from under her. "I swear I don't know." Dickson's rage was palpable. Shaking with anger, he spat out, "You're nothing but a prostitute, Adepa." She tried to explain, but her words fell on deaf ears. Desperate, she reached out to him, but he slapped her hard and pushed her to the ground before storming out of the house. As soon as he left, Auntie Ama sauntered back into the hall, a cup of water in hand. She found Adepa sobbing on the floor. Placing the water on the table, Auntie Ama called out, pretending to be concerned. "Dickson! Dickson! Where are you? Please come back." Adepa is innocent. There's nothing between her and the electrician. But she knew all too well that Dickson was long gone. Auntie Ama knelt beside Adepa, her voice dripping with false sympathy. "Don't worry, dear. I'll call Dickson and explain everything. This is nothing to worry about." Adepa's heart ached at her aunt's words, but deep down she knew the truth. The proverb echoed in her mind. Fake love is like a mirage in the desert. It looks real from a distance, but disappears when you get close. Auntie Ama was slowly and painfully tearing Adepa's heart apart, methodically destroying her spirit. What should have been a moment of reconciliation and joy had turned into a nightmare of sorrow and betrayal. Adepa's dreams lay shattered around her. The hope she had for a future with Dickson, the dream of providing her mother with a better life, all of it was now in ruins. Her tears flowed freely as the weight of her aunt's treachery settled heavily on her shoulders. The betrayal from her own family was a wound deeper than any physical pain. As Auntie Ama stood over her, pretending to comfort her, Adepa realized that she was truly alone in her fight for happiness. Her dream was over, and the sorrow was more than she could bear. The Akan proverb, "Suro onipa najai osaman," which means "fear man more than ghosts or spirits," resonates deeply in moments of betrayal and deceit. The next day, Adepa tried to call Dickson, only to find that he had blocked her number. Each attempt to reach him was met with a busy signal. Desperate for answers, Adepa confronted Auntie Ama. "Have you talked to Dickson? Did you explain everything to him?" she asked, her voice trembling with hope and fear. "Yes, I did," Auntie Ama replied calmly, "but he didn't give me a clear answer about how he felt." Feeling defeated, Adepa sighed. "What did the electrician say when he came to your room to fix the light?" Auntie Ama asked, probing further. "He asked if I was engaged and tried to get my contact," Adepa explained. "I told him I was engaged and got angry when he persisted." Auntie Ama nodded, pretending to ponder the situation. "You know, the electrician is a humbly and hard-working guy. I think he would treat you well. If Dickson keeps hurting you, why don't you consider dating the electrician? Who knows? Maybe God will bless him in the future, more than that arrogant Dickson who doesn't care about your feelings." Adepa's heart sank at her aunt's words. It felt like a knife piercing her heart. How could she say that? She thought, deeply hurt by the suggestion. Without a word, she turned and fled to her room, tears streaming down her face. In the solitude of her room, Adepa's sobs echoed against the walls. The weight of her aunt's betrayal and the loss of Dickson was too much to bear. She felt trapped in a web of deceit spun by the very person she had trusted. The future she had envisioned was slipping away, and she was left grappling with the harsh reality of her broken dreams and shattered heart. The proverb's wisdom haunted her. The true danger lay not in unseen spirits, but in the betrayal of those closest to her. Adepa realized that her Auntie Ama would never speak on her behalf. She'd always disliked her relationship with Dickson. This painful realization left her feeling more alone than ever. Meanwhile, Auntie Ama shared her machinations with her daughter, Abigail. Both women were pleased with their efforts. "Do you love Dickson?" Auntie Ama asked. Abigail, despite her feelings, hesitated. "I really like him, but sleeping with him would feel like incest." Auntie Ama smiled slyly. "Don't worry, my daughter. They're just friends and have never had sex. Relationships are like survival of the fittest. Only the strong and smartest survive." She continued, painting a vivid picture of a future they could seize. "Imagine marrying Dickson, having children with him, and becoming part of his properties. There is saying that envy is the art of counting the other fellow's blessings instead of your own." They needed more to secure their future, even if it means hurting their own blood. In stark contrast, Adepa was drowning in sorrow, utterly alone. She had no one to turn to, feeling betrayed by those she trusted most. The pain of her broken heart was like a shattered mirror. Though she could try to piece it back together, the cracks would always show, reflecting the pain and hard lessons learned. Her despair was so deep that she contemplated suicide, but she managed to pull herself back from the brink. 3 days later, desperate to reconcile, she went to Dickson's house, only to be blocked by the security officer. "Please let me see him," Adepa pleaded, tears streaming down her face. "I just need to explain." "I'm sorry, miss," the guard said firmly. "I have strict orders not to let you in." Crushed, Adepa turned away, her heart heavy with grief. The loss of Dickson and her isolation felt unbearable. Her life, once filled with hope and dreams, was now a barren landscape of desolation and despair. Auntie Ama and Abigail, consumed by envy, couldn't appreciate their own blessings. They sought to secure their future at Adepa's expense, driven by a ruthless need for more. Each step Adepa took away from Dickson's house felt like a descent into a void, her shattered heart echoing the pain of betrayal. Adepa cried bitterly every day, each tear a testament to her broken heart. Yet, even in the depths of her sorrow, a quiet strength began to emerge. Like a storm that eventually passes to reveal a resilient sky, her broken heart began to heal. Though the pain lingered and the memories never fully faded, with each tear shed, Adepa grew stronger. The experience became a part of her, a scar marking her journey, but also a reminder of her capacity to endure and overcome. The pain of a broken heart can never be entirely forgotten, but it shapes us into more resilient and compassionate beings. After a few months, Adepa began moving on with her life, knowing she and Dickson had never shared an intimate moment. Meanwhile, Auntie Ama and Abigail had succeeded in destroying Adepa's relationship. Auntie Ama gave Abigail Dickson's contact, laying out a plan of seduction. Abigail called Dickson, introducing herself with a display of her education and eloquence. She suggested they go out for lunch, and Dickson agreed. On a Saturday, they met. Abigail appeared stunning, her attire seductive and expensive. They spent hours at the restaurant, engaging in pleasant conversation. Abigail was offered beer and wine, and though she claimed she wasn't good with alcohol, she decided to try it. By 9 p.m., she pretended to be drunk, stumbling and unable to walk properly. "Dickson, I'm so drunk. I can't walk," she said, leaning heavily on him. Dickson, a bit tipsy himself, tried to steady her. "Let me take you to your mother," he suggested. "No, if my mother sees me like this, it'll be the end of Me. Can you take me to your house? I can go home in the morning, Abigail pleaded. Without hesitation, Dickson agreed and drove her to his luxurious house. Upon arrival, Abigail continued to feign drunkenness, clinging to him. She stumbled as they entered the house, deliberately creating intimate moments. "Dickson, you're so kind," she murmured, looking up at him with wide eyes. "It's nothing, Abigail. Just get some rest," he replied, trying to be considerate despite his own inebriation. Abigail's plan was working perfectly. She leaned in closer, her proximity intentional. "Thank you for taking care of me," she whispered, her voice soft and enticing. Meanwhile, Adepa lay in her room, trying to piece together her life. She didn't know that Abigail and Auntie Ama were scheming to further entrench their hold on Dickson. The strength she had begun to find in herself was her only solace, a testament to her resilience in the face of profound betrayal. Abigail's actions, driven by envy and ambition, were a stark contrast to Adepa's genuine love and loyalty. As she feigned sleep in Dickson's house, Abigail knew she was stepping into a world of deceit and manipulation, hoping to secure a future that had been torn from Adepa. The night was a turning point for all of them, marking the beginning of a new, darker chapter in their intertwined lives. Thank you for watching this episode of our story. The twists and turns have been intense, and we're left wondering what will happen next. Will Dickson fall for the seduction trap set by Abigail and her mother? What lies ahead for the future of Dickson and Adepa? Your thoughts and opinions matter to us. Share your views in the comments and tell us where you are enjoying this story from. Don't forget to subscribe to Ananse Web of Tales for more captivating stories like this one. Your support helps us bring more engaging content to you. Stay tuned for the final episode, where all will be revealed. Thank you for being a part of our storytelling journey.